guys, it's Dwight. Welcome to my channel. Hope you're doing well. So today we're going to work on another large canvas. It's going to be a 30 by 40 inch canvas. It's a gallery wrapped level 3 Michaels canvas. And I'm going to be using reds and oranges and some gold as well as some blue and some turquoise today. We're going to see what we come up with. Don't quite have a plan yet of how I'm going to pour it, but we'll see in a few minutes. I wanted to talk a little bit about paint and how much to use on top of your canvas. I'll go over that with you in just a moment, and I'll show you the chart that I use and also how I do my measuring. I actually use cups, and I'll show you that in just a second. So let me get my space all organized here. We'll get started and I'll walk you through. Okay guys, here we are back at the canvas. I wanted to show you my chart. Some of you may already have. I found this a long time ago. So I'm going to be doing a 30 by 40, which is 42 ounces of paint. Now I'm going to be using well over 50 ounces of paint because I want to make sure that I cover the entire canvas, and also with my dump paint, that's another 24 ounces. So there's a lot of paint, but this is a large canvas. You got to remember, you're going to be tilting off all four corners, so you're going to lose a lot of the paint. Now when I say paint, what I actually mean is floetrol and water, because I use like 2 or 3 ounces of paint in my cups and the rest is just floetrol and water. So these are the cups that I use to measure my paints. It's just sort of a crude way of guesstimating without having to overly estimate. I use a 4-ounce cup, 8-ounce cup, 16-ounce cup, and a 24-ounce cup. Today I'm going to be using mostly 8-ounce. I may do 2 4-ounce cups, I'm not really sure, and my dump paint will go in this cup. So in just a moment I will show you the colors and I'll show you the consistencies and we'll go from there. Okay guys, here we are. All of my paints are mixed and they're basically laid out in the order that I'm going to pour them. I'm still debating whether to use my colander or my strainer. So I'll figure that out over the next couple of minutes. But I'm starting down here. This is Artist Loft Soft Body White. Next to that is Deco Art Americana. Dazzling Metallics, Ice Blue. Now what I'm probably going to do is lay some of this down, some white, and then the blue. And then I'm going to start unloading these 4-ounce cups completely. That's, well, it's a darker red. I forgot the name of it. It's a crimson color. And then this is an iridescent copper. Peacock Pearl, this is like a morning mist. It's kind of like a bluish gray. We have Champagne Gold. We have Orange Pumpkin or Pumpkin Orange. This is a Rose Gold. And then this is True Red from Deco Art Americana brand paints. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be using. There's my Artist Loft Soft Body Black sitting over there. Double check the consistencies and then I will decide whether I use my strainer or my colander. Okay, hold on. Let's see what happens. Just one more thing before I do the pour. I want to show you how thin these paints are. I meant to do that in the last little piece. So it's basically just going in off the Drizzle stick. There's no real mounding. If anything, it's like a 1/4 or a 1/2 of a mound, but I keep it as thin as possible. So I'm gonna finish checking these consistencies and then we'll do the pour. And I have decided to use my strainer. Okay, hold on. Okay, friends, here we are back at the canvas. I'm first just gonna say that for some reason, the button when I did the time lapse didn't happen. So you're not gonna see how all the pearls and cells performed and came up. But anyway, this is the pour. Starting with a little bit of that ice blue on the bottom. Just putting in some white and the blue back again. I love using the strainer. I just think it's such a beautiful look when the colors come out. And sometimes it mimics the overall final look as well. Gotta be careful sometimes if you're using white and red near each other, because if it mixes, the white can turn the red pink. Unless you want that. I think that's pretty cool. But I love the Peacock Pearl and the turquoise colors with the red and the orange. I think it's just a beautiful mix. Pour some of the gold in. Some of that orange. I think that was a metallic orange. I think it was from Liquitex Basics, I think. I'm not really sure. I'd have to double check. And there's that bright red. Finishing up with some of that blue. I love the contrast of the red against the blue. Then of course the turquoise or the peacock pearl on top of that. Remember, each color that you pour on top of a previous color pushes that color out. And it creates a really beautiful design. Now this didn't come out symmetrical. It kind of came out oblong, almost like egg-shaped. I wasn't quite sure what that was about. Maybe it was the weight of the canvas. My first thought was, well, if that's the weight, and the weight is in that corner, then I'm going to have some distorted cells at the end of this pour. But you'll have to wait and see how things turn out. See, I can try to move some of that over a little bit. Probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. Okay, so we pour the black sort of off center again, because I usually tilt towards that lower left corner to start with. And, you know, I started going pretty slow. Now this is sped up ×2, but I didn't want the black to overtake too soon. I kind of whipped that around pretty fast, it looks like. I think I tilted a little too fast for this, because the outcome, which you'll see in a bit, is just slightly different than my usual outcome. You can see sort of the color around the edges coming through and all those pearls. And yeah, I forgot the time lapse, so I apologize for that. So we're going to look at the wet results. Hold on. Okay guys, I would be honest with you, I wasn't really sure if I was going to like this at first. I just walked back in the room after about an hour and a half, and this is completely unique and different from what I typically do. I'm going to call this one Agate, and the irony of that is I was just looking online at natural stones and crystals and agates, and this is what it reminds me of. So it's already started to dry. I mean, the edges you can see are dry. Yeah, wow. It's not something I typically am like excited about, but there's something about this. It filled in a lot more than I thought it would. Let me walk around. Yeah, I think I like it maybe this way because of the white here, and yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna let it dry. I'm probably gonna do some touch-ups through here, but not a whole lot, and I think we're done. Okay guys, hold on for the dry results and any touch-ups that need to be made. Okay guys, here we are. It's completely finished. I didn't show you the touch-ups only because it only took a second or two. I just cleaned up the edge a little bit. And yeah, I've got these great rings and these great and interesting pearls all through here. These blue ones and those at that end are just fascinating. So yeah, we're all done with this one. It's called Agate. Not quite sure how I'd hang it. Maybe like this, and maybe the other way around. Okay guys, stay tuned. We're gonna work with turquoise and purple next. Okay guys, here we are. It's completely finished. I didn't show you the touch-ups only because it only took a second or two. I just cleaned up the edge a little bit. And yeah, I've got these great rings and these great and interesting pearls all through here. These blue ones and those at that end are just fascinating. So yeah, we're all done with this one. It's called Agate. Not quite sure how I'd hang it. Maybe like this, and maybe the other way around. Okay guys, stay tuned. We're gonna work with turquoise and purple next.